It's called Advanced Answering Techniques. So it is three professional people explaining to other people how to answer different questions, a multiple variety of questions. Advanced Answering Techniques.
Hello and welcome to Advanced Answering Techniques. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Josh, and you're listening to a podcast that takes listener questions and tries to, I've been thinking about this, guys, in many ways dramatize the failure of the liberal open society. We give carefully constructed answers that point to the failure, again, of a coordinated attempt by elites to promote a society of weakened bonds and values. Because our answers are so deeply grounded in truth and strong virtues, they offer, I believe, a clear path out of this demiurgic veil of tolerance and equality. Caleb is another of our co-hosts. And he's been making the rounds to various camps, and now as we transition into sort of late summer here, conferences. And I understand that this last weekend, Caleb, that you presented a lecture and a workshop at the 7th Annual Modesty for Men Conference. And your talk, and you correct me if I'm wrong, maybe this was an early title, was called Weaning the World, a Multiphasic Approach to Disappearing the Male Nipple.
No, you're definitely not wrong.
Oh, okay. That's
what
what
exactly right.
That's what it was called.
That is, yeah.
You went with that title, so whatever revisions you went through after we talked about it, that was still a good way of characterizing your talk.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to make it more of an everyman thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
How is that not an everyman thing?
What this? Well, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah. You mean within
every man
the
has nipples.
within the
Well, that's not completely true.
But you're saying that even though the title had sort of an erudition about it, in the talk itself, you kind of brought it down.
I kind of brought it down so that because we're talking
Gotcha.
about guys here,
Yeah, dudes.
and not all dudes and guys are so into
Multiphasic approaches.
Exactly. They want a simple solution. They're practical.
Yeah.
Like they might say that's a step-by-step process. That might be the more, approachable approach. A way of describing an approach.
Yeah. Totally. So I ended up with,
Multiphasic approach.
No.
You had kind of a glossary moment where you like kind of stepped back and went multiphasic.
That's what I mean.
Here you go, guys.
It's too much.
But I think
I actually opened it up to the crowd and I said, this is basically what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
What do you guys think we should call it?
Interesting.
And
I'm so fascinated by that process and what you guys ended up with.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was the crew that had shown up because I didn't title it. The name of the talk, the slot where my talk was TBA or
TBD sounds like.
To be announced or determined. I mean, I think it really could go either way. TBA, TBD.
Yeah, because
Once
I kind
it's
of
D, it'll be A.
It's announced.
Yeah.
I mean, it was TBA because I kind of had determined what I was going to talk about, but I hadn't.
No, but you
announced
hadn't determined the title. You were going to wait until you're in the room with everybody to
No,
determine.
he went with the title.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
He went with the title, but it was that for your talk, but not when you actually had to submit for the
The title was just for me.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yes.
For me to keep track of it, in my files.
Yeah.
Because if you have, I have a bunch of files called TBD
right.
that are to be determined. The title is to be determined.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
and then I have to read through the whole thing to figure out what in the world I was even thinking.
Yeah.
So this one I was like, I want to remember this. I want to be able to find it. I really made an effort to be able to make this one findable. So, but when I got there, the crowd was full of people who were just, say full.
Yeah.
The speaking venue was not full.
Oh, okay.
But the crowd was full of people.
Right.
As
who
many
were-
people there actually attended they comprised the entirety of the crowd.
Yes. And some of those people we're really curious about what this was going to be about.
Right.
And so when I told them, the basic idea of men actually need to be concerned about modesty and specifically regarding the nipples. And then I was like, what should we call this? I am an expert, but I don't want to sit in this position. I want this talk to be different. I've sat through so many talks and I've had so many ideas that I wish they would have let me talk about. And I'm going to give you guys that opportunity now with me,
Yeah.
And so, we got a lot of different
That's
ideas.
really cool. That's really generous.
We got a lot of different cool ideas
About
how to
sounds
how
like
to not make it gross to hide the male nipple, because there's
I see.
so
Right.
many ideas that will work,
Yeah.
but are just kind of gross
Right.
and kind of makes you wonder, what are they covering up?
Well, I've always been interested in what
Is it just a nipple
Yeah.
behind that covering,
Or
or is there
something
something
else.
worse?
Yeah.
something much
Is
Something-
it two nipples?
I'm getting very afraid.
Yeah.
I'm getting very afraid
Yeah.
about if a man's going to take off his covering, what will I see?
Top covering
His
in
top.
particular. In this case, in
Yeah.
particular.
Well, you're not. I don't know.
I don't think we're as a society really. There's not as much question about other aspects of.
It's less.
Yeah, the
male-
bottom covering.
male
I am afraid.
modesty.
I know basically what I'm going
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah.
So it's not the unknown that I'm
Exactly.
afraid of.
Exactly.
We know why you're covering that up, but if a man's covering up the top part,
Yeah.
why is it? We've been used to
Alarm
this.
bells are ringing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Yeah.
And that was some people's ideas for how to cover it up, is put a bell.
A bell over. Yeah. I mean, that is
That
the
is a
danger
little
with kind
too-
of opening things up that way.
It's kind of like a pasty, kind of like a
Yeah.
like too.
And those
yeah.
already kind of are like a bell. If you look at it
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
a different angle, it is kind of nipple-esque.
Yeah.
Certain bells, especially.
Yeah. The hammer inside it definitely.
Yeah.
The hammer inside.
The hammer
The hammer
inside, that
inside
is
the
funny.
bell.
That is funny
The
because I
hammer
was not
inside the bell.
thinking. What Gabe was immediately thinking of
Was bottom.
sort of the open end of the bell
Yes.
out.
But that's true.
Yeah.
The top
And
would
he's like,
also.
"That's what nipples look like."
No, I like the idea. I mean, I don't like it. I thought it was
like
funny.
the hammer, like the thing. Is it called the hammer?
It's a hammer.
Is it called the hammer?
I believe it is. But
Okay.
Well, we're gonna call it the hammer.
Isn't it the tongue of the bell?
I like that better,
that's
because then your nipple can have
Getting
a
really
tongue.
freaky. That's starting to get really freaky really fast.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, it was a
huge success.
a success for certain members of the
Entire crowd.
of the entire crowd. Yeah, there was very few very devoted people who were kind of getting up in the aisles and walking around and like really thinking hard. You could see.
In many ways, kind of an ideal response to a talk.
For certain people.
I know when I see folks standing up, sort of milling about, I know I'm doing an excellent job.
I'm doing
communicating.
my job.
Yeah.
And hands on
Yes.
hands on
Yeah.
the forehead, like
Like almost in a fever
Yeah.
you.
of consideration.
And if
temple
you
rubbing.
didn't know that they were thinking really hard about what you were talking about, you might think that they were just frustrated with how you were conducting
Sure.
the talk.
But they're not leaving the room.
Yeah.
You're not walking the room.
Well,
right? They're
yeah.
eventually
Not all of the people who get up and walk around are leaving the room.
again.
There's some.
Yeah, a portion of a certain percent of a given fraction. Gabe's another one of our co-hosts. We've touched on this in the past, Gabe. One of the ways that you like to relax is by tunneling, and your family's been supportive of this. They understand that you need time to create complex networks of underground passages. But you had a recent brush with the law, I understand, where you sort of got in proximity to like an underground bank vault of some kind. And as you've often told me, when you encounter like an underground obstacle, to you you see it as kind of a challenge. Like you come upon on a substantial root ball from an oak tree
Sure.
or a
Yeah,
giant
I mean-
cedar, and for you it's like Okay, the tunnel's going through
Right,
here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like, if you're a rock climber,
Right.
and you see a path on the wall that looks challenging, but it's the only way. What are you just going to climb down? What good you've spent all this energy to get up there, and I mean, it's the same situation in a tunnel.
Yeah.
So
Except,
just power through.
What if they're just as an idea? What if there's just an easier way to get up there and like around the difficult spot? And you don't have to go back down completely. You can still go forward with your tunnel. You just have to go to the side for a little bit,
Right.
like this rock climber who sees this really difficult
Yeah,
path.
but
Then there's just actually a walkway on
Stairs.
There's stairs on one part of it.
But like that's not rock climbing anymore. That's just walking on stairs.
Well, you could climb it like it's rock climbing. Like you could climb it like you rock climbing.
Kind of like
Even
when
if it's
you're a
just
kid.
stairs. You don't have to walk up it. You can climb
Yeah.
it like it's difficult.
when you're a kid and you just decide I'm going to go up these stairs like Spider-Man or something like that.
Create your
Just
own
kinda-
obstacle.
Yeah, and
that
that's
way.
fine. But oftentimes in tunneling, I've found you don't have to create your own obstacles. They are presented naturally through, like you said, root balls, rock formations,
rocks.
bank vaults. That's not
Yeah.
natural as
Right.
much as just sort of an environmental,
So if you reach a bank vault, you don't go around it. You try to go through it. Okay.
no, yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
you just go right through it. And,
Has that gotten you into any kind of
well, that's
trouble?
what
That's
Josh
what I
was
was- that's
saying
what I
is a quick brush with the law. And, they were ultimately understanding, if a little concerned initially. And I think it was really just,
They understood that why you would.
They're men.
they're men. They get it. They know they have their own, these are law enforcement officers.
What
They'll-
did the most understanding of these officers say to you?
It's no big deal, dude.
But it is like it's
Yeah.
it's the same way where like with a particular hostage situation or something for a cop, they may see an easy way to resolve the situation,
Mm-hmm.
but then there's also this kind of more challenging way that they
Sure.
could also
Exactly.
and so that's kind of what that they understand that kind of thinking.
They want
Yeah.
to keep it
Where-
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where you're like, well, we are going to break the door down and we are going to go in with guns drawn.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that's actually the challenge.
I know how to talk this guy down.
Right.
I've done
I
it
could do it.
before.
Yeah.
But we've got the big trampoline out.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're gonna get it out every time and never use it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm tired of not using
I'm-
the trampoline
I'm tired of
with
not
this guy.
Bouncing through the window,
Mm-hmm.
using the trampoline, getting a big running start.
Right.
Bouncing through the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And smashing into the guy.
Yeah, getting a huge running start, getting a kind of a special uniform that I actually
Right.
designed and made, and I've kept it. I've brought it to every single one of these
Yeah.
hostage situations with this guy who
Same
keeps
guy.
doing
Keeps
this.
doing it.
It's not a hostage situation. I mean, unless he's taking himself hostage.
Well,
I guess
who's-
is
yeah.
sort of the idea. But
Who's the hostage then? If
Yeah.
he's, it's
Kind of the police.
Police, right? That's what I was. Yeah. Yeah. So they were cool about it. They just kind of let it slide. I mean, it was pretty obvious. The main tip off that I was not a threat to the money was that I didn't have big bags with dollar signs on them on my person.
Yeah.
Or I just had the one that I normally carry with all of my money in it.
Yeah.
But because tunneling gets expensive quick. But yeah, I wasn't
And
even
dirty.
tempted.
And you need the bag to keep
Yeah, it's
your
dirty
money
money.
from getting so dirty.
Well,
Right.
you don't want it to be dirty.
Right,
No, you-
exactly. It
A
could be
wallet
dirty
won't
money.
really work. It has
Yeah.
an opening at the top. Very easy for dirt to get into. This bag is a
It
cinch
is-
kind of
yeah.
Right.
system set up so the money doesn't get dirty.
People don't talk about the ways that wallets are a dirt permeable money containment
Absolutely.
system.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, if you have a wallet in your back pocket and then you also put a bunch of dirt in there, it's only a matter
Oh,
of time.
oh boy,
Muddy money.
It's sort of like a wallet will let kind of anything in. It's
Right.
not discerning about whether it's a punch card or
Yeah.
money.
This
or
sounds like a
even
good
paper.
topic for
Yeah.
a conference talk for you. To talk
Well-
about how wallets need to be more discerning, or
Yeah.
users,
Wallet users.
Wallet users need to be more discerning.
Yeah,
kind
that
of flap at the top. Maybe another flap.
Yeah.
that would be interesting. What I'm curious what kind of maybe what conference you might deliver something like that at. I guess finding a journal that would accept a paper along those lines would be a good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of journal on
What was
men's-
the conference for the nipple talk?
what is
It was
modesty.
seventh
modesty.
annual men's modesty conference.
Men's modesty
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I got confused. I guess I did initially think that the police were arresting you for trying to go through a root ball.
No.
No.
They wouldn't.
No.
They wouldn't have really mound about that.
No?
They wouldn't mound about it.
It's the past tense of mind.
A mind.
Yeah.
I got it. We have no Spotify comments, maybe being mean to Joy about saying that her last comment about my solo episode seemed like a pity comment, sort of, made her feel like, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. So
Yeah, I'm not even going to be.
So
I'm not
really-
even going to pity him anymore.
So Joy just can't win. Ultimately, she comments. It's a
She
pity
comments,
comment. If she doesn't, it's like a personal offense.
well, no,
or
I'm
just
saying,
kind of-
I was trying to take, I'm
Okay,
sorry if it
all
comes
right,
across that
all
way.
right.
I was trying to very much take that on the chin and maybe say, hey, maybe it's not a good idea to accuse people of certain intentions
Yeah.
when they're dealing with, your creative output. Maybe it's just best to accept the encouragement at face value and not subject it to sort of a relentless critique.
I mean, I guess if some people want to live like that.
So no Spotlightify comments this week, but we do have a question. Question from, basically at this point, it's people related to Joy and Joy, and then this other questioner. So let's hear.
Hello, boys. I was listening to the old S&G, a little bit of Simon and Garfunkel, and their desires to be a English muffin and a cornflake. And I realized that it's grammatically incorrect. It should be, I wish I were an English muffin because of the hypothetical plural. But then I thought, that's weird. What is the origin of the hypothetical plural? When you really think about it, it makes absolutely no sense as a grammatical rule. Why in the world would we decide that when we're talking in the future tense, we would describe a single object's actions as plural? I wish I were. That it just makes absolutely no sense. So my question to you is, what is the origin of the hypothetical plural? Thanks, guys. I appreciate. Always.
Of course, that's from Justin. He says that he always appreciates. It's not really true. He doesn't always say that.
I believe that it's happening in the background.
Even if he doesn't say it.
Yeah. Right.
I think it appreciates at different rates.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Justin's question to us is, where do we get the hypothetical plural? What's the origin of the hypothetical plural? And I thought maybe one of the ways that we could set this off a little bit is there are songs that use this properly. I was able to come up with Tevye,
If I were
a rich man. So that's the correct construction. If I were a rich man. If I was a Kellogg's cornflake. If I was an English muffin.
I think he says, "I wish I was."
I wish I was
I wish I was
a Kellogg's cornflake.
I wish I was a Kellogg's corn. I actually just listened to that song
Did you?
today.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
pretty
interesting
sure.
because I did a little bit of research into this, and
Okay.
but not into the specific wording of Paul Simon's song, which is, do you guys know the name of that particular track?
Punky's Dilemma.
Punky's Dilemma.
Yeah.
So Punky's Dilemma. So there are, of course, in language, as we're all well aware, having studied, Latin and Greek, there are what we would call moods in grammar. And there are different moods that you can use within a verb to describe the speaker's attitude towards the thing that they're saying. That's the function of mood. Okay.
It's one of the many ways that grammar is like a woman.
There are many moods. There are many moods, and these actually show up in the construction. So this is, at least to me, kind of interesting. I don't know how, I guess the fact that Justin is drawing us into sort of this kind of pedantic analysis of grammar shows either that at least one listener is on board with this kind of exploration, or perhaps that he's cutting with the grain, that he's seen that this is the kind of thing that we can be very absorbed by.
Kind of distract us from our own podcast.
Fine distinctions like this are something that perhaps we do naturally spend time on.
Yeah. Is Justin a great user of the podcast?
Right.
Or is he like the arch user?
Yes. Perhaps that's a question that we have that we could explore over the course of this discussion.
Is he just setting us up to fail?
Well, but
have
that's
we been able to track this where Justin, the episodes where we address Justin's questions are way lower rated?
So we definitely could see that, and that is not what I've seen is just across the board sort of gradual decline.
Okay.
So it's not as much about
he
it's
is
not as,
winning.
So perhaps Justin's influence on each individual podcast appearance is having that cumulative effect across all episodes. But it isn't statistically seem to be correlated just with his episodes. I'll say that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, that's interesting.
You're
though,
asking the right
because,
questions.
Well, because is he setting us up for failure by making us focus on something that do we identify that as a weakness in the podcast, that we are too pedantic, that we get into semantics to too great a depth?
Yeah.
Or is that our strength?
Strength.
And he's trying to help us along.
And maybe his intention is just to kind of realize how he can kind of fit directly in,
focus us a little bit
with the
on
podcast.
that.
Yeah, we haven't been pedantic enough recently.
And so there's kind of a thirst for pedantry that arises as part of the system.
A big thirst for the small things.
Such a big thirst for such a small guy.
One thing that I think is interesting here is that I'm impressed with Justin either way on this. Either he pulled up the hypothetical plural as like a concept that he is engaged with and aware of, and he has that level of depth on grammar, which frankly surprises me. I think
I didn't even know about this as a thing, right?
So that is totally true. I knew exactly what he meant when he said hypothetical plural, but I was not aware of that as a category.
Okay.
So Justin's awareness of some
Very
of these,
impressive.
that's impressive to me. Now, I do have that. I don't want that to sound dismissive of Justin, as though think that this is beyond him or something like that. I think he's a sharp little guy, and so that is consistent to me. And I wouldn't want you to think that, but he does seem like a visual person and not as much of like a grammatically oriented person. And things don't always break out that way, but frequently do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the guy that always appreciates.
He's the guy that always appreciates.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just want to say I can neither confirm nor deny if I was aware of the hypothetical plural. It's just
Why?
I don't think it's wise of me to say.
To just commit one way or another.
Yeah.
I think I understand the concept based on the provided examples. But like Josh, I had not known it as a category.
For me,
so I'm willing to come
admit
out
that.
and just
And
say that.
I'll admit that.
Yeah, I'm not.
But here's a reason. Here's the reason why I wasn't aware of it as a category is because I'm aware of the subjunctive mood in grammar, this is the construction of the subjunctive mood. If I were an English muffin, or
It's actually wish I was.
If I were an English muffin.
so what's interesting here, what is so interesting here is that, and I was hopeful that we wouldn't have to go this deep, is that if it is wish,
Yeah.
which can be, I think that's an option. Basically, the subjunctive pertains to unrealities. It proposes things that have potential to be, but there's also the idea of the optative mood. The optative mood, which is a sort of subcategory.
Again, so like a woman.
The optative mood goes into hopes. I believe
Okay.
opus is about I
Hopus.
believe it's hopus.
Hopus
I
popus.
forget now. I'm feeling less confident about that, but I believe it's related to hope. So the optative mood is about like hoping that something could be the case.
I hope I am a rich man.
Would that I were a rich man would be the sort of optative.
Would that I were a rich muffin.
I wish I were some rich man.
I wish I were some rich man.
Honestly, if you're wishing,
Yeah,
why not wish to be a whole gaggle
So,
of
I'm
billionaires?
just going to be one guy,
Yeah.
one rich guy.
I'm here wishing. We all know that if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. Which means that they're cheap. So as long as I'm wishing,
Yeah.
wish to be several guys.
There should be several wealthy men.
Yeah. A murder of wealthy men.
Yeah.
Little Luigi
Yeah.
Mangione.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that way, then one of you could die.
Yeah, you've
And
got
you could
options.
still
You could still
be the rest
a
of the
couple
rich
of
men.
guys.
Yeah, you could still. You might not. Hey, kind of a bummer. You lost part of your wish that you're
Right.
not as many rich men.
Right.
But if you're just wishing to be one rich man, Tevye is. Sometimes that's the problem. Is we wish too small.
We do hope too small. The
That has always been my criticism of Tevye as a character in that
Yeah.
play.
yes.
Well, yeah, he wishes he was a rich man, and he ends up having to leave his village.
Yeah.
He can't even be a poor man where he is.
Yeah.
Maybe if he were some rich man, he would have been able to just stay where he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder why Paul Simon wishes he was an English muffin. I feel like there's sort of a transracial thing happening here because he does say coming up brown at one
Yeah.
point. And that did stick out to me in my listening of the song today, which was unrelated to the question, I might add.
Right.
I did not know that this was on. I was just turning on bookends because,
When did
let's
he write
face
that?
it,
Good
it's my
album.
favorite Simon and Garfunkel
The
record.
best Simon. I
When
like
did he
Parsley,
write
Sage,
that?
Rosemary, and
I'm
Thyme
not saying
as
I don't
well.
like that,
I'm not-
Josh. I
know.
can like two things,
I
but
know.
one of them I might enjoy more.
It's
did
not
he-
a criticism,
Okay.
for God's sake.
Josh,
When did he write that?
1967
Okay.
in
So-
that zone.
So there's no way he
Set
could have
68,
stolen
I
that
think the
line
album
from
came
me.
out. Coming up brown. I would say, what year were you born? You were born, not to reveal personal information,
Yeah.
but it was the early 90s.
Yeah,
In
super
that
early
area.
Yeah.
90s.
Very
Well, not
in the
super early.
Yeah,
Like, it could
really
be earlier
early
in the
90s.
90s, but it is pretty early.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You actually kind of got in right at the latest, like almost at the latest part of the
Yeah.
earliest part of the 90s that
Yeah.
you could have had.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
you did
he
not.
couldn't have stolen
he
it from
could-
me, I guess.
I
That
guess
makes sense.
actually, what's more
did.
likely is you stole it from him.
That's fairly likely.
I
It would
don't
have
know
been,
this song. I don't even, so I
Yeah.
I don't know. One of my songs features that line a lot.
Okay. I'm really glad we got into that. I was just wondering
Yeah.
if Paul Simon was the original Rachel Dolezal. That's all.
Transracial.
The original racial Dolezal.
Dolezal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even thought about that. That's money on the table.
Why did she call herself racial?
Well, she wasn't trying to draw attention to it, I guess. I don't know.
She just was, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I do remember that maybe that was a Twitter handle that she.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good Twitter handle.
For
Those are
her,
hard to come by.
For her in particular.
But where does this come from?
Where does it come from? That's a really good question. We're into grammatical verbal moods, right? The idea that you can have a construction that relays the speaker's attitude towards the thing that they're saying in a way that other constructions don't, that it gives shades of meaning to this. So why is it if I were and not if I was? Guys,
the royal we?
It's the royal we. Interesting.
Is that it?
So you're saying that plurality in some way has an aggrandizing function.
Yeah. It's like we, he said, for one, the whole time he's describing it, he says, why do we do this? Who is he talking about there?
Justin.
I think English
The
speakers.
royal
Just
Justin.
English speakers?
Yeah.
The royal, okay. That's
Royal
good
Justin.
to know. Yeah, I wasn't sure
That I'd like to see.
if he was talking about
Pretty
his
small
position
throne.
in society.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But small people can be royal.
They can. But they do need.
Sure. Have you ever seen the King of the Leprechauns?
Yeah.
Darby O'Gill?
Yeah,
Darby-
David O'Brien.
Yeah.
Brian. His name's King
name's
Brian. He's
King
King
Brian.
Brian.
He's King Brian, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably
He's small and
I don't
he's
know.
the king.
Brian McTeeny-weeny. I don't know.
Well, okay. We don't have to talk about
teeny-weeny.
that part
Mix,
of him.
Is that, or whoops. Can we believe that?
Saying
Like Mick
Nick.
as
As a slur.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's
As a
not what I
mean
meant
slur.
to say. Trust me,
Okay.
when I mean it, you will know. But that denotes Scottish extraction rather than Irish. Is that true?
Yes.
I think
You're
Mick.
right.
Or
What's
is
that?
it Mac?
Mac
versus
would
Mick?
be Scottish.
Okay.
And
Mac, not
Mick,
Mick.
because I think a good slur for the Irish is if you're talking to an Irish person who's
Tater tot.
Tater tot's a good one, but I also think that you can really spit out "you stupid Mick."
Yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
And it
And
has
that's very
that hard
strong.
K sound at the end,
Tater
which we
tot.
all know is very
Mick
funny.
Tater Tot.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's
Which is like, why does
What about-
that's
McDonald's
for
have
instance. This
those?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a context in which you're waiting for an Irishman to deliver his crop of potatoes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're
You're standing astride your steed.
you're standing astride your
Okay.
steed.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you've been
You've been waiting too long.
Hey, you've been riding a long way, and it's hot. You don't want to get off the horse,
Hard on the
but
glutes.
you don't want to sit anymore.
Yeah.
You're standing in your stirrups.
And in that situation, if you're waiting on an Irishman to deliver you potatoes, I would say the perfect slur would be later McTot.
yeah,
Later, McTot.
Well, because he's late.
yeah.
He's a tater tot.
You're saying-
But you would say
You
it's just
later,
used-
so you would say
You-
you later McTot.
you later McTot.
I don't know. That doesn't. I would just be confused as the simple-minded Irishman.
You
And
can't
think you
Gabe,
need
that is
to
such
be
a good
direct.
point. Gabe, that is such a good point.
You
is that
need-
you cannot go A to C with these guys.
Gotta be
You
direct.
gotta just go
I
right.
think it's gonna be better if
true.
you're standing astride your horse and you yell down at him.
Yeah.
When you're talking to an Irish peasant who's
Yeah.
bringing you his failed crop of potatoes, you've got to go A and a half,
Yeah.
A and
You
a half, A and a
stupid
half,
Mick.
B.
I'm gonna say it again. You stupid Mick. These potatoes are only half the size of the regular potatoes.
Put it in terms of understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want you to think about how small these potatoes are, and then think about the regular size of a potato.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then just try to do a little comparison there. Don't say it that way. You'll lose them.
Yeah, you gotta be more direct than that.
It's got to be more
You could
direct
say
than that.
these potatoes are too small.
Yeah.
It's kind of an easier way to say it.
Yeah.
I was expecting
These
larger
are late.
potatoes.
Yeah.
These are
I
late.
would say use your hands
Yeah.
You could,
to demonstrate the size of a potato and go size of potato that I require from you and then get much smaller bring the hands together
Yeah.
closer.
Don't even use two hands.
Size of potatoes. Yeah, just use one hand.
I just use
You
one
think
hand.
they're gonna
I
get
use
distracted?
Fingers. I use fingers. Yeah.
Listen up, O'Bannon.
Hold up your littlest finger and say, or hold up your biggest finger and say, "This is the size of potato we want." Littlest finger say, "This is the size of these late potatoes."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just say too little, too late.
Very true.
Too little, too late.
Maybe
You
that's where
stupid
that comes from.
Mr.
Where does
Mr. McTate?
yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If that's the other thing is mnemonic devices are going to be very good for
Very
the Irish.
Really,
That's one
help
reason
this
why they
insult.
love-
They love
poetry.
poems and singing.
They just forget everything.
Everything
Yeah,
if
else.
they
it's
don't-
true.
if
It's
not in the
either
song.
because of the pea-size brain issue or the blind drunk.
The blind
problem.
drunk. That's going to be the frequent
Right.
thing that you're overcoming when you're talking about explaining something about potatoes to
Yep.
Irish.
And that's going to be hard. I mean, to talk grammar with a blind drunk, because like we talked earlier about Justin being a visual guy.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's true. I usually see him.
Yeah.
I mean, actually,
no.
honestly,
Really?
I hear him more than I see him.
Way more.
But when I meet him, I see him.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
If you
And-
do want to see Justin, check out his drawing YouTube channel, Drawing with Justin.
Drawing with Justin.
Go
yeah,
subscribe.
it's- right, and that's partially what you mean by the visual thing.
Yeah.
But I was going to say it is interesting that words and reading, you gotta see.
Well,
Pretty
that's
much.
actually
Gotta
not
see
true
this.
because
You
Pretty
got to
much.
see these
You gotta
words.
see these
the blind
words.
have taken matters into their own hands, literally
It's
by
fine.
with Braille.
Look, I'm pretty okay with calling that reading.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree.
It's different, but I think
I think
I think it's meaningful feeling.
it's like
it's
it's
not that meaningful.
it's communication like committed to a page that you can interact with
yeah.
Well, I
with
mean, a
whatever
page,
available senses.
You know, a page. You got to be able to turn a page.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they can.
Can they turn those pages?
I've never seen them do it. I assume that they can.
And you know
'cause
what?
It would be weird for them to
You know what's
invest so
interesting?
much money in
Right.
making this whole industry that
Right.
creates books written in Braille. And
You
then
know what's
they
interesting about that
can't
though
do it,
is that you've never seen them turn a page.
and neither have they. That's like, have you ever seen Stevie Wonder's house? No, neither is he.
Neither is
Yeah.
he.
Right. Right.
But
he's felt it.
I am still curious about where this what is it, hyperbolic or hopeful? No, what was
Optative.
the optative? No, but what's the term that he used?
He used hypothetical plural.
Hypothetical plural.
Why
Yeah.
is it plural? That's the ultimate question. I don't know.
I wish I was one of this category of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think if as long as
Does-
you're wishing, I think it goes back to the original idea. As long as you're wishing, why just make it for yourself? Why not include a bunch of people?
Sure, but also like, is it different if he says I wish I was that English muffin? Like
Yeah.
he specifies
A
a
specific
singular English muffin.
Yeah.
Is it a
I wish I
hypothetical
was-
singular?
Yeah, I wish I was those English muffins.
Well, that seems like it'd still be plural.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get a feel for
It's-
how
It is interesting.
it goes.
He just wants to be a generic English muffin, but previously in the
Sure.
song, he wants to be a very specific brand of cornflake.
Yeah.
He wants to be. He wishes he was a Kellogg's cornflake.
Yeah. So I guess he wishes he was a cornflake like engineered to engender chastity and abstinence in
That's what I was.
youths.
That's what I was. I thought that was a little bit interesting. Was that maybe that he had a specific desire to sort of suppress the libido and the sexual inclinations of the consumer.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that it works?
Yeah. No, I guess I would be concerned. I guess if I was saying, can I be a food item, I would opt for something that does not excite
Right.
the consumer.
You know, I
think
don't want to be
so,
part of that
in that way.
Rice
that-
Krispies.
that
Yeah.
like sort of the cycle
One of the
life.
favorite cereals of the blind.
Because you can hear
You
it.
can hear them.
You can hear them coming.
Yeah, that is not so good for the deaf.
No. Yeah, they get virtually nothing out of a bowl of Rice Krispies. The
Yeah,
deaf.
it's like
Yeah. Which is true for everyone, like nutritionally, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. They're kind of have a more
probably more about the
sometimes
milk.
when you have less senses, you have a more accurate sense of the truth.
So interesting. So you're saying that
Yeah.
the deaf, since they're not perceiving the sort of audio element of a Rice Krispies bowl, they're actually perceiving it more accurately.
Yes.
Yes, because there's nothing
There's
there.
the pageantry. There's no the pageantry of
Yeah.
Rice
Rich
Krispies.
pageantry.
Yeah. For the it's for
Sometimes that's not enough for me.
Right.
Just the Rice Krispies. I put some Pop Rocks in there, man.
okay. That's sounds really gross. But
Oh, it's not good. It's the taste isn't good.
It's
Yeah.
not, but that's sometimes, again, what you're wishing for is the richest of pageants.
Yeah.
Yes. The parade of the Rice Krispies in the bowl, and then up to my mouth, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
the kind of latent popping of the
But-
Pop Rock.
but if you were deaf, it would be no sizzle, no steak.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I guess I'm saying it's one of my weaknesses, and it's not. It's sort of a way that I'm being vulnerable right now.
Which
to
is
say
also
that
bold.
I can be taken in by.
You
these
weren't going to
things.
share about your prior knowledge of the hypothetical plural,
I haven't.
and you still haven't. You've stuck to that, but you've opened up in other ways, which we can all be thankful for.
Yeah.
I hope so. To use the optative
Or
optometrist.
yeah,
voice.
it's not just saying I
Subjunctive
hope
mood.
so. You I think what you would say is would that I were. That would be the optative
and I
construction.
hope I get to use that.
would that I might someday. That's I think what you want. Would that I might someday
Hope.
deign to hope. Thanks for listening to Advanced Answering Techniques. If you'd like us to treat your questions this way, you can send them to advancedansweringtechniques@gmail.com. We're looking for an audio file about a minute in length. Send those in.
Not faded all the way to one side or the other either. We want mono or stereo.
I mean, I would prefer not to get stereo.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Really?
better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not even
I would like.
stereo.
I would
Just
like
mono.
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 It's like the Beatles records. The mono is just better.
It's better.
Yeah.
It works for us. We we were talking at the beginning about sort of an open society.
Mm.
And you could think of that as maybe the open sound of stereo. We're not interested in that. We would like to confine things to a stronger single kind of meta narratival
But going into
kind of
both
construct.
ears.
Definitely.
We
going
don't
into
want you to
both ears.
favor one ear.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree,
Right.
but I frequently, I mean, that's part of why I do it is that I often listen with a single.
You do?
Bud in.
Which ear?
I'll switch.
Really?
I like to give my ears a break. I do find that I have different kind of. I don't know how interesting this is for folks, but I have different frequency range strengths in either ear.
Yeah.
I have certain frequencies that I hear better in my left ear and certain frequencies that I hear better in my right ear, or mostly just frequencies in my right ear that I don't hear very well at all. But that's okay. Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys was completely deaf in his right ear, which is why they mixed all of their records in mono, because he couldn't tell the difference between a mono or.
Well, I think you could probably
Stereo.
tell the difference.
Well, it just wasn't
It just wouldn't work
meaningful.
very well.
It
Yeah, it
wasn't
was just- it
meaningful
would-
difference.
It
You're
would
right.
be-
You're
It
right.
would really
He
stink.
would hear it and he'd be
Yeah,
like, "That doesn't make
it's-
any sense," because
it's-
I can only hear my one ear.
Yeah. Well, okay. So there's instruments playing sometimes in this song,
Right.
and then there's
And
just
then they
total
become
lack of
much
it.
quieter. Because he's still hearing bleed.
That could be. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about the bleed.
There's lots of bleed, especially in the way that they're recording those. I mean, we're not talking about clean tracks. So the stereo versus mono might not even make that much of a difference.
Yeah, that's true. But for us, mono.
Yeah, we're just doing mono.
We just want to mono and mono. That's kind of what we are.
I wanted to just, what do we feel about, I like to kind of do a little bit of a postmortem on answering Justin's question. We didn't really get down to the giving a final answer on why it's this way. I did. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry.
I mean, we didn't, but
we
I
didn't.
did.
Okay.
Just, if you're going to wish.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about the
Go
future.
big. Go
Go
big.
for as many as possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that makes sense.
Hypothetical plural. Hypothetically, why make it just about me?
If maybe there's something in just the mental abstraction that you have to go through that creates even more distance. If I was sounds natural. If I were pushes into, so maybe it makes it feel more abstracted and less like you're making a claim about direct reality. If I were more than if I was.
Yeah, if I were
Because it's less natural.
If I were more than one man,
No,
I would get so much.
Caleb,
harder.
I love your answer, and don't put me in a situation where I have to say anything negative about your answer. Your answer's great. What I'm saying is I'm giving my own answer, and it's not your answer. And so it doesn't have to play by the rules of your answer.
No, yeah, I was just kind of using your answer with mine again, just to see how it fit.
Bit of
I
cross-pollination.
wasn't trying to say that like your thing had to be my thing. I was just saying like, okay, that's cool for your thing, but now what if your thing is also part of my thing then again?
Yeah.
And then we can kind of talk about my thing more.
Right. Well, I see that there's sort of a necessary narcissistic solipsism that's at play.
I think it's really about, you're already wishing for this thing that is not the case.
Yeah.
And so it's like beggars can't be choosers. You're just going to say, hey, I'd take it just to be an English muffin.
Right.
And I know that doesn't get into the was distinction exactly.
Yeah.
But there's just rules, and sometimes you just have to come up with rules. Now listen, I've been doing some research on the English language independently.
No one's paying you?
No, this is not sponsored by any sort of government grant or academic thing.
It's like we frequently do, kind of dividends and payouts here,
right?
And that hasn't gone towards any
of this. But I
I haven't paid any of my own money to go to these conferences or camps.
But there are just so many of these
year.
These things that we adopt as grammatical rules of grammar that were actually just one person's preference that was written, printed, and published, and disseminated, and everyone sort of adopted as a necessary thing, right?
Yeah.
But it is not. They actually don't serve any functional purpose. It was just things. This is stuff like the Oxford comma, things like ending sentences with prepositions. That is honestly, more often, it is a really uncomfortable way to talk.
Of course.
If you try to avoid ending sentences with prepositions.
And it is simply...
On. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Good point.
Yeah.
It is... That's another one of those things where it simply has to do with a convention of Latin that has no purchase within English.
Exactly.
Because you have to precede a prepositional phrase with the preposition in Latin. It's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do that in English.
You don't have to.
Your prepositions can be dissociated from that function. And so then go wherever.
And it's important, we don't want to lose our language. We should respect language. But also language, the purpose of language is communication. And so there is a sense in which a lot of these things, if you're communicating your point.
Is that the purpose of language?
If you'd like some language that I believe communicates quite deeply and importantly, you can follow my Substack. That's sturvinson.substack.com. I've been not posting there for the past couple of weeks. That's not on purpose. That's just the busyness of life. I will get back to it as soon as possible. I know that very few people are in any way concerned about this, but I thought I'd mention it.
If this is at all a motivation for you, Josh, I'm ready to like.
Whoa.
I'm ready to like.
That's a huge motivation.
Whoa.
Are you
And
kidding?
Out of all of the people who subscribe,
Would that you were kidding?
Out of all the people who subscribe, there is a percentage of people who want more.
Right. Some people have subscribed and they're like, actually, that was fine. We could let it go there.
Yep.
And there are some people,
Yeah.
a percentage. Yeah. That'll frequently happen in a crowd. You gather a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. I've got an auditorium of 2,500 seats.
And
I've got a crowd of about 30 people.
Right. And look, all the people who are positive about this experience are enjoying it.
Right. Yep. Bye.
Pretty good numbers. Bye.
Bye.